My camera's fixed today. I'm not like 10 times zoomed in.
There's nothing wrong with seeing a little extra facial hair up that close. Hey, what's going on? It's the AJ Sports Show. I did talk about being zoomed in on your facial hair, and some of us today are missing their facial hair. What a young lad we have in the studio today.
Hello, everybody.
Lost a bet.
Lost a bet with who? With the brother?
With hygiene.
Oh, with hygiene. Got it.
Okay. With anyone at this point, we'll keep picking the Chiefs and keep losing.
I mean, I basically picked the Chiefs the most last week. Anyways, welcome in, guys. It's the Football Feast episode. It's the AJ Sports Show. We're happy to have you. If you're in, if you're not, don't worry. We'll be on for a little while here, talking some recap of Sunday and Monday, and looking ahead to Thursday night football, where we got the Packers visiting the Arizona Cardinals. And we will see how that one plays out. Another article of COVID has kind of hit the NFL, so we'll talk about that, how that affects this week's games. Also talk about some of the freaking amazing highlights we saw this last week. And there's just a lot of bad teams in the NFL, so we might talk. Maybe I'll ask you guys. Maybe we'll do a panic meter or something later, just to chat it up about that. What's going on, Lord Lizzie? But yeah, without much going on, how was your guys' Sunday and Monday for that matter? Football wise,
ugly games, man, all around the league. Ugly games. There was 6, maybe 7 blowouts. Obviously, the Chiefs were a part of that on the wrong end of those blowouts. Just a bad. I for me personally, it was a bad 2 days of football. It was not fun to watch. I mean, nails on a chalkboard was more exciting than Jameis Winston facing off against Geno Smith last night. Thankfully, Alvin Kamara kind of stole the show a little bit. But aside from that, it was an interesting weekend. No Bills, no Chargers this weekend. Fantasy team stunk. No Cowboys. Zeke Elliott it was on the bench. Miles Sanders got to start. It's just all bad. Jay, go ahead.
Miles Sanders looked great for what it was worth.
He got carted to the locker room.
Yeah,
we're not going to see him next week.
He's got an ankle sprain, is what they're saying. But
week to week probably.
It was another tough week of football. Chiefs got absolutely mollywopped. Did not expect that. So that was interesting. And honestly, I mean, in DFS, I did lose $25. But Jalen Hurts in garbage time, baby, it's always going to get you 25 DraftKings points, so it don't matter. So that really helped save my day. And honestly, I had some pretty good tournament plays too, man. I was up the leaderboard on a few of them. I had a lot of Miles Sanders, and I got him at really good ownership too. I mean, they were projecting him to get about 17%, come Friday night, considering he was he was a high value guy. And then once Stevenson from the Patriots was ruled out, a lot of people pivoted to Damian Harris, and he ended up getting fucking 2 touchdowns, of course. But felt really good. I had 3 Stafford stacks, and that worked out really well. I didn't end up taking anything down, obviously, because I just #suck. But Ryan, just clap it up for Ryan over here, dude. I mean, Ryan, you guys look great. Thought this was going to be a good test for you Thursday night. It still is going to be. I mean, this Green Bay team's still pretty good, but no Devontae Adams, no Allen Lazard either. So he's ruled out too. I'm sure we'll talk about that right now, but good Lord. JJ Watt the other day was like, maybe we're just better. And I was kind of like, it's kind of cheesy, but that's kind of cool. I mean, they're kicking tail. I mean, came out really sluggish against the Texans and then scored, just decided that they wanted to start playing football and scored 30 straight points. And was like, okay, there you go. That's it.
The Cardinals are playing really, really well. The fact that people are underestimating JJ Watt and company is a little silly, especially since week 1, when they came out and just defense handed it. I don't even remember their.
I had the Cardinals finishing 4th in division, bro. We're gonna keep it a buck. I had him finishing 4th in the division. I had him win. I had him win 9 games or something.
I think I had him 3rd, but I mean, everybody overestimated what the Seahawks were gonna do. Even though
Russell Wilson should not. Yeah. I mean, if he's not hurt, we're talking about something entirely. If Russell Wilson was on the field last night, the Seahawks win by what? Probably 20. I mean, seriously, Geno Smith is damn pitiful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a real bad game to watch. But yeah, we can get into it here. We can this is where we start off with the first course, and I guess the first course today will be we could recap that Green Bay's coordinator, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's running through the league right now, man. The Bears, they had Damian Williams who had it, and then now Nagy has it. So it's rearing its ugly head right now. Hopefully they get it kind of cleaned up.
I want to make the record part, the first part of the episode, because we all did really bad this last week. We all went 1-4. So let's just we could breeze by this, and we could talk some talk some of the rest of the games in the middle of the show.
We went Colin Cowherd bad. Like this is like Colin Cowherd's been awful all year. We're pretty much following it. This was a bad week.
Oh, well, okay. So we all went 1-4. So we're still neck and neck there. I mean, with all my hating on the Ravens, I should have just went with the Bengals here. I'm like, I was a little, disappointed in my past self. I was like, dang, you've been riding these Ravens so bad, and this was your opportunity to be, to pick against them. But alas, Joe Burrow, and we talk about him in the main part of the show here in a second. We can wait to talk about this game, but yeah, the Ravens got whipped, and it was close for parts of this game, but the Bengals just unloaded on this Ravens team, and this Ravens team, which their plus was their run, didn't run as much, and they're you can kind of see what happens when Lamar passes a lot, and not that he's not a good passer, but when he relies on the run to open up his pass, and the run wasn't working, and I think a lot of injuries are kind of building up for this team. But let's hold off on talking about this one, and because we could talk about it in a few seconds here.
Glad to hear the family's okay, Ryan. When I first read the first couple words, I was like, oh no. I was like, you guys had it last week? But yeah, meaning the Cardinals. Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's kind of a huge description you need to maybe put at the front of your sentence. But yeah,
he got there. I got it.
We got there. Okay, so let's talk about this game first then. So the Titans beat the Chiefs. I don't have the fancy football channel, so this was the only game that was on. There was no game on Fox at 10 a.m. in the morning before I had to head off to work. So I got to see the Chiefs play the Titans, and I got to see a pretty sucky game in which every time the Chiefs got the ball, they gave up the ball, and every time the Titans had the ball, they did something with it, and it was frustrating. I know Derrick Henry, for what it's worth, had a great game on last Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. So, they took down the two AFC brass here, the back-to-back weeks. But, I do think that's, like, I texted these guys, these losses and how bad they are builds character. And for Josh Allen and the Bills, I know that they're going to hold on to that as much as they possibly can. And come, playoff time, which the Titans should be winning the division, the Bills have a definite chance of playing them, as a potential 1v7 or a 2v6. But yeah, you guys have your floor here. Talk about your Kansas City Chiefs.
Are we going to talk about this one like going forward, or is this where we're going to really get into it?
Yeah, I figured we could talk about this one here.
I'll let you go away.
Well, yeah, I'll ask you about your panic meter later, but you guys can elaborate a little bit here.
They're just not a good football team right now. I mean, it's just really no other way of saying it, I guess. They don't do anything well. We watched some of the game film yesterday. We tried to break it down, see what's going wrong. Chris Jones is a perennial Pro Bowler, All-Pro, playing out of position on defense. Frank Clark is a man robbing the Chiefs blind for $30 million every year. Every snap he takes. Pretty abysmal. It's hard to muster up a proper response for how bad and how poor this team played on Sunday. I know Johnny and I went back and forth talking about it, conversations with other family members who are Chiefs fans. The consoling definitely helped from you, Ace. We definitely appreciate you having our back. We know you'll always be a supporter, but it's just there comes a point where when you get pushed around, you gotta push back at some, and there just hasn't been any pushback yet. And if there isn't, this team is going to fall completely flat of all expectation and fall flat on their face and basically just limp through the end of the year, and I guess have to try and turn it around next year. But there has to be some sort of resistance, because there has been none to this point of the season, and there has been no cohesion. And all the expectations that they had and that we had. I mean, even for you being a Buffalo Bills fan, Ace, you expected them to win 14 games. It's a pretty crap situation right now going on in Kansas City. I don't know how to muster a better response. Unfortunately, I've been going back and forth. But Jay, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, we were able. I rewatched the game yesterday. Probably gonna rewatch it again today and pick up a couple of other games. Shout out NFL Game Pass because it allows me to go back and rewatch stuff. This game just got away from the Chiefs really early, and it doesn't help when you haven't been playing well the rest of the season to kind of lead off with that. But it really did. The Titans came in and on their first drive, the Kansas City Chiefs could not stop them for anything. I don't know if the Chiefs are surprised nowadays that teams are going to run the football and play action past them with crossers. I mean, we run man coverage like all the time. That's like what Steve Spagnuolo does. He relies on his front four to really get a pass rush and then play man coverage on the back end. And give the Titans credit, man. The Titans came out and Ryan Tannehill in the first half made some really good throws and AJ Brown made a few really good catches. I mean, the touchdown catch he had was one-on-one. I mean, it's kind of like a mixed bag when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Like the offense has been pretty damn good. Coming into this game, they were averaging 30 points a game and they were 4th in the league in scoring. And then even if you include this game where we scored 3 points, we're 8th in the league in scoring and we averaged 27 points a game. So the offense isn't always the problem, but it's also not the solution right now. And I think that's kind of where the Chiefs are falling short. And defensively, it's kind of a little bit of everything. When you look at it, we are not scheming guys to be successful. Andrew already mentioned Chris Jones. Chris Jones is an all-pro defensive tackle, like has been for the last 2 years. And we came into this year and decided to try to run him out at defensive end. And you put the tape on. I'm gonna try to get like a TikTok breakdown here, like one of those 3-minute TikTok breakdowns, and really go through it. Because I mean, when he went into the interior, he got pressure every single time. It was unbelievable. It's almost like the Kansas City Chiefs aren't stupid enough to keep allowing this to happen. Like literally, you move Chris Jones inside, you get 2 pressures right away and an interception. Like it's really ridiculous. The touchdown the touchdown pass to AJ Brown, right? We're in cover 1 man and we're leaving Mike Hughes one-on-one with AJ Brown. Mike Hughes is almost never going to win that matchup.
A first-round corner who lasted less than 2 years in Minnesota is a one-on-one on an island with one of the best receivers in the AFC. It's awful coaching from like a schematic standpoint.
Yeah, and it was bad. You saw a lack of effort too. I mean, you see Frank Clark, he's out there, he's in his stance as the 5 tech and outside the tackles, and he's halfway standing up. Dude doesn't look like he wants to be there at all. And I'm not trying to judge his character or anything, but that's just genuinely what it looks like. And that's what the tape's showing. Tape doesn't lie, dude. I mean, men lie, women lie, children lie, tape don't lie. So we were able to watch it yesterday and we saw some stuff, and I'm gonna try to break it down a little more here. The thing that I do want to hang our hats on is, again, the defense is bad. Okay, when you look at it, right? Computer Cowboy is a Twitter follow that I have that breaks down a lot of football analytics. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, and Asa, we'll shout out your Buffalo Bills here for a second. So they take all of the defensive series results, so every series that your defense plays, and they average out whether the team you're facing gets a touchdown or a first down, gets a field goal, gets a turnover, or a punt. For example, the Buffalo Bills are in first place in this category, where their defensive series results end in a first down or a touchdown for the opposing team 63% of the time. That's first, okay? The Bills force turnovers 14% of the time, punts 16% of the time, and a field goal 6% of the time. The Kansas City Chiefs allow a touchdown or first down on defensive drives 81% of the time. So if we go out there and the defense is out there 10 times against your offense, you're either getting a touchdown or a first down 8 out of those 10 times. It's not good enough. And then when you look at it conversely, right, because they have it for offense too, when you look at the offensive side of the football, guess who's number 1? It's the Kansas City freaking Chiefs. They get a touchdown or a first down 82% of the time, but they turn it over at like the 5th highest rate at like 8% of the time. it's really not hard to see why we're losing football games. It's actually very simple. The fix is not easy, and that's where it's coming into an issue. And, again, there's only so much time we have here. I'm not going to sit here for 20 minutes and keep going off about the damn Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm going to try to get a 3-minute TikTok out where I go through a few of the games that I really liked and, kind of pick and choose, here and there, what looked good, what looked bad, what we need to improve on. But yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs need to play better. This game got away from them really early. There's really no shot after that. Patrick Mahomes was very bad yesterday, and he admitted that. I mean, he went into the post game and fully took ownership because honestly, Patrick Mahomes was very bad. 14-0 ball game, 1st and 10. Kansas City Chiefs get the ball back. First play, he's rolling out left, trying to make something happen, throws it in a tough window. Ball gets popped up and intercepted, and then they go down and score a touchdown. You're down 21-0. I mean, 14-0 with the football. You're still in this, right? And then you turn it over on the first play. I mean, what are you expecting? And I will say, for what it's worth, the defense didn't play great, but they definitely played better than I've seen, in quite a while. And maybe some of that has to do with, Tennessee Titans really throttling down at the end of the second quarter and then in the second half. But, I saw some things that really showed improvements. I saw some things that looked very bad. And I saw it from everybody. And I think that's kind of where me and Andrew are right now at this point in the season. It used to be as simple as just saying, oh, well, the offense is great, the defense sucks. Well, no, that's not necessarily the case. The offense is still unbelievable, and they're still doing a great job. They're not doing it consistently enough, and they're not doing it enough to where you can hide these defensive problems. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes. I highly anticipate that they get this figured out because they're way too smart. They're way too well coached. They have way too much talent to keep going through this. So, yeah, I mean, if we come out and get mollywopped by the Giants, then, we'll have another issue. Definitely be pressing the panic button. I think we have that coming up on this show. So we'll see what happens.
They do definitely have a shot, but I mean,
we're 10-point, and that's the thing. That's the freaking crazy part, right?
But
we're 10-point favorites.
Where's your confidence meter on that? Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's still sky high. It's still sky high. I mean, you look at the Vegas odds, and the Kansas City Chiefs are still 8th to win the Super Bowl. This is a 3-4 football team.
It's actually perfect time to put some money down on them.
Oh, dude, I mean, I've been telling Andrew and Joseph, Patrick Mahomes to win MVP is like plus 20,000. I'm all day on it. I'm really thinking about it. Just to be dead honest.
Well, so right now the Chiefs are 3-4. This ties the most losses that they've had since Mahomes has joined the party. They've won the division 5 years in a row, and again, if they have more losses in this year than they've ever had, well, whatever. There's an extra game this season as well, and for what it's worth, I mean, I know Justin Herbert and the Chargers feel like they figured it out a little bit, but we saw them lose a ton of close games last year. And what really I haven't seen the Chargers change this year is enough data to show to me, to say enough games to see okay, they turn it around. And then I know the Raiders have been playing really well. I mean, when you complete 31 for 34 passes and 3 touchdowns like David Carr did, and especially with your top tight end target out and top receiving target at that being out, they played a very bad Eagles team in which I thought the Eagles would pull that off. But that's the next game here. But
they were pathetic.
But either way, I think the Chiefs have a shot to maybe at worst be 11-6 this year. And
a troll job. I love it, Amanda.
She's a Raiders fan, right? So we gotta para la familia, you gotta
kind of the family, yeah.
You gotta rep them.
And Asa, you're absolutely right, and I think that's kind of the thing that why we're still holding on to quite a bit of faith here. It's not like there's an unbeatable AFC team out there, man. I mean, when you look at it, right? You have the Titans. The Titans, their front 4 can't get pressure worth of nothing. And I mean, really, I don't trust that defense very much. The Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC, and I don't particularly think it's very close. The Buffalo Bills can't run the football. They can't. It's not in their nature, and they just really don't have the ability to. The Oakland Raiders, big questions all around. The Baltimore Ravens have been decimated. Their defense looks suspect. The Cincinnati Bengals right now are second in the AFC. Ooh, is anyone scared of the Bengals right now? And watch, the Chiefs are going to lose to them when we play them this year. But, I'm really not. There's so many questions about all of these guys. All of these teams have huge questions. There's not a dominant AFC team out there right now.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of blasphemy. There's a lot of bad teams. There's a lot of good teams losing bad games as well. So I mean, you got to also take if you're gonna eat the bread both ways, you gotta also have it with that context.
Wow, they're 6.5-point favorites.
I think they cover. I mean, that you just gotta assume they win by a touchdown.
That's a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean a touchdown at home. I think I mean, okay. You're gonna watch. I watched ESPN this morning, and the Packers are 6-0 without Devontae Adams. Okay, and that's great and all. Like, does Devontae Adams make them a better team? Yes. When he's out, does it make them a worse team? Yes. So like the Cardinals, like everybody's gonna keep talking about them each week because they're waiting for the week that they lose, and they will lose at some point of this season. I mean, if you try to go 17-0 and win the Super Bowl, I hope they do, because by the time you get to the Bills in the Super Bowl, you're gonna be Drano.
You're gonna be wow, Ace is calling the shot already, baby.
Bills versus Cards. It'd be exciting. It'd be a great game.
Absolutely.
6.5's a lot versus Aaron Rodgers, man.
Yeah, that's a lot too. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the line. I don't like it.
I don't like. Honestly, it's one I'd stay away from, Ryan. I don't know if you have to pick it. It's one I want no part of. I mean, there's so many other lines that you could pick that are more favorable and give you some upside. I just don't see that one being one of them. If I had to guess, I'd take the 6.5, man. Like, I really would. I don't know if that's just like an unwarranted confidence I have in Aaron just to kind of keep this game close.
I think if it's a close game, the Packers win. I think the Cardinals win. So I think it's like a 10 to 12 point win. That's how I'm generalizing it. Like 30 to 18 or something like that, or 30 to 23, something in that ballpark. Mind you, Mason Crosby's been missing kicks like crazy. Point afters. Aaron Rodgers without his top weapon, like he's not going to have his best player. Like, guys, like he had 200 plus receiving yards the other day. Like,
I mean, I get it, but he was also. I mean, that's Washington. Washington is literally the second biggest pass funnel in the league behind Kansas City. Ryan, what would you think? I know you're a Cards fan, but 6.5. If you had to bet that, you taking the 6.5 there for the Cards? You think they're going to win by more than 6? By more than a touchdown? I'm just curious. We'll wait for Ryan obviously to answer. But
we'll talk about that game in a little bit here, and then we can just we can get through this one. We can fly like these Eagles and just go straight into the ground, because that's where our records are going with picking these games. We're not even abusing the spread, damn it.
I'm not picking against the Raiders anymore, dude. I don't like the Raiders, but I'm just done picking against the Raiders. It's not worked out for me this year.
Yeah. So Jalen Hurts, there's rumors afloat that from some insider that Gardner Minshew is going to take over this job at some point this season, and
stupid, and
it's dumb. Like, Jalen Hurts has been producing some numbers. This just isn't a very good roster, and like. Yes, people will say like their offensive line is pretty good, and they got a lot of young talent that hasn't produced consistently, and their offensive line, okay, like they have some of their moments, and they have a pretty good staff there, but their defensive line, like their interior of their defensive line, is pretty good, but they get shredded all the time. Like 31 for 34. Derek Carr just stood up in the pocket and did exactly what he wanted. What's his Moreau?
Moreau, the
Moreau,
island of Moreau.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the best game ever, but
good game coming in for Darren Waller, and that's the thing with the Eagles. If you ever need a streamer tight end, pick a tight end that's playing the Eagles. The Eagles, they don't believe in drafting linebacker and safety talent that can really roam the middle of the field, so they do a great job of shutting down perimeter wide receivers. I mean, what's his name? Hunter Renfrow had 7 catches yesterday. Foster Moreau had like 6 catches yesterday. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that yesterday, Sunday. But that's where you can really make the Eagles pay. Andrew, what did you think about this game? Any thoughts on this game? I know it was kind of a cluster F.
Just, sad about Miles Sanders. They're coming into the week. They said he's going to get the ball more, and the guy gets carted off, gets hurt. I mean, it just stinks.
And it wasn't just coach feet. He was getting it.
That's what I was going to say. The game didn't start off. It turned into a 33-7 ball game, and then some garbage time from Jalen Hurts, the master of garbage time himself, and for fantasy, the fantasy darling of garbage time. got some points on the board for them, but it didn't really start out like with a blowout feel. Like we watched a little bit of the game, like the Eagles are moving the ball, the Raiders are moving the ball. It didn't seem like there was any didn't seem like either team was stopping each other, but it also didn't, but so it was going to make for a high scoring game. But then Miles Sanders goes down, and then kind of implosion just kind of sets in for the Eagles there. But I mean, the Raiders are just airing the ball out, like Jay mentioned. They've been attacking the middle of the field a lot. Hunter Renfro's a guy that they've really utilized. They use Henry Ruggs in spurts. Him and Bryan Edwards, they attack downfield, and Derek Carr is throwing the ball at a higher rate. Their offensive production's gone up since John Gruden has left, so make for that what you will. Rich Bisaccia is their new head coach right now, interim. So I don't know what effect he's having on terms of the offensive scheming, but they like apparently the offensive line is coming together better than they expected and a little bit faster, probably better than I expected too. I thought Alex Leatherwood was a reach, but apparently he's played well over recent weeks. So see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, he's been all right. He's been fine. And just to touch on Ace, what you were talking about with Jalen Hurts, them talking about Gardner Minshew. We've seen Gardner Minshew. Andrew calls Gardner Minshew the farmer only boy, and for good reason, because that's really where he should be right now. This dude, I mean, he's fine. He's a fine backup. Like, he's not bad, and he's come in and he looks okay because he again, he's fine. But Jalen Hurts was a second round pick for you guys, and he's only started I don't even think he started double digit games. It's like his 9th game in the NFL. Like, can we just get a full season, bro? You're going to be bad anyway. Full send it. Like, see if he's the guy, because if he's not, then you're just going to end up with a high draft pick, and then you just draft another quarterback. And I mean, this quarterback class isn't great, but or go trade for someone. Like, the quarterbacks that are, rumored to be available this year, and, wink, wink, we've been talking about one here, Russell Wilson, that I think is going to be, kind of available this year. Look at the Seahawks, man. They are just absolutely garbage without Russell Wilson. It's freaking terrible. But there's literally no reason why you should be wanting to start Gardner Minshew over Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts has looked bad. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, bad, like very bad. Like, there are times he is inaccurate. I mean, he cannot throw to the numbers. Outside the numbers, he's just incapable. Dallas Goedert, there was two balls were not even within the vicinity of him. Not even close. So I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is the answer, but why bother bringing in Gardner Minshew and not finding out if he is the answer, right? I mean, I guess that's where I kind of lean to it.
Yeah. So, I will say that this game was more decided by how bad the Eagles are to me than how good the Raiders are. The Raiders took care of business. The Raiders should have scored touchdowns on their first 4 drives. Their first drive ended at the 9 with a pick, with Derek Carr getting picked off by the Eagles. And then they proceeded to score a touchdown and then another touchdown their next drive. And then they picked up a fumble and had a couple throws at a touchdown, but had to settle for a very short field goal while they were in the red zone. So, yeah, I mean, this game, they could have scored 20 in the first half and this game was over. They had a couple 3-and-outs in the second half, but they were just, they weren't trying to win the game at that point. They had already won the game. So yeah, the Raiders took care of business at home. Good for them. They haven't gone on the road yet without with their new coach. So we'll see how they line up next week.
I do just want to say one more thing real quick. I know there's a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that are Raider fans. A lot of my coworkers are Raiders fans and stuff. And give the Raiders credit. They've played pretty much nobody. I mean, they beat the Ravens. They beat the Steelers, who we see now are decrepit. They beat the Dolphins, who have won a single game this year. Then they lost to the Chargers and the Bears, right? They should not lose to the Chargers and the Bears. The Chargers are fine, okay, but you don't lose to the Chicago Bears. Look at the Chicago Bears. I mean, they can't do anything right recently. I mean, they scored 3 points in Tampa, and I get it. It's Tampa, but you got to score more than 3 points. And then they beaten the Broncos and the Eagles. The Broncos have lost 4 straight games. The Broncos have beaten – the only teams the Broncos have beaten this year have combined for 2 wins, okay? So I think we just kind of need to keep in check. And then, so what my secondary point to that is the Kansas City Chiefs have played one of the hardest schedules in football so far this year. I'd argue probably the hardest schedule in football this year. And we are 2 games back and have not played a single game against the Las Vegas Raiders. So let's just see what happens, okay? And I'll bring up Ryan's comment because now we'll transition on, I imagine, here. I feel like I would take the points. I think Aaron will keep it close. Ryan is a stand-up fella. I like that. You want to see the guys at full strength. I like that, Ryan. Give it a full go, huh?
I will not try to burst your bubble here, buddy. But the Kansas City Chiefs also continue to face, technically as of right now, the hardest strength of schedule for the remaining
100%.
of the season. And
100%.
Transversely, the Eagles here have the easiest. They're tied with the Titans, and right above them is the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, we're calling this in Buffalo the bye month because we just had our bye, and then our next 3 weeks we're facing the Jets. We're facing the Jags, the Jets, and the Dolphins this upcoming week on Halloween.
Yeah,
so
and I think you guys have faced.
Just start
Trubisky. Yeah, you guys have also beat like Washington and
Mitch Trubisky over under throws for 1 touchdown. I can see it.
And take the over on that.
I can see it happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we demolished the Dolphins when we played them. Those poor we call it we're their daddy. No big deal. Okay, we'll move on to the next game here. This was the Sunday night game. This was a monsoon weather type of game. Yeah. San Francisco, thanks for the heads up. We did not realize that bullshit rain was going to hit us all yesterday. So thanks. I mean, it wasn't as bad, thankfully, by the time it got down here. But yeah, San Francisco, in Santa Clara, I should say, because they play in some Gene Levi Stadium. We got some of that lovely rain weather, which is good for the environment. So we'll take that. We'll take that 9 times out of 10. But the Colts came out and took care of business. Jonathan Taylor looking like Derrick Henry light. Honestly, I love that kid. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch a lot of this game because I was working Sunday night. But I checked, I checked the score and read the stuff later, and I was like, oh, okay, well. And then I saw some highlights, and I was like, Jimmy G is missing wide open people, and I'm like, oh boy. And then you'll hear this week that Kyle Shanahan doesn't know how to coach and yada yada yada. Well, I mean, this San Francisco 49ers team is like the Baltimore Ravens. It's just like everybody gets hurt, and what are you supposed to do? And you have your backup as your rookie quarterback, and he needs obviously reps before he's going to even show any indication that he gets better, and he needs practice. And so this 49ers team, I think we all probably had as the second or third to finish in this division here. They're not a terrible team, but they're a team that I would have zero confidence in going into week to week because I don't know what I'm going to get. And Shanahan kind of keep messing with us. Well, Jimmy G's my quarterback for now. And not that bothers me a lot because I don't really care about Jimmy G and the 49ers. But it wouldn't instill optimism in me if I was picking these guys again in the future. I probably won't. Screw that.
You mentioned that you're going to hear that Kyle Shanahan is not a good coach the rest of the week. You're going to hear it right now. I don't think Kyle Shanahan's a very good coach. I don't know if that's a hot take. He's 1-10 in home games since the beginning of last season. He's only played well when Jimmy Garoppolo was there. And I get it. Your other quarterbacks are Nick Mullins, who has the wildest stat in NFL history I'm not even going to get into. CJ Beathard that you've had from time to time, and now Trey Lance. And this is kind of what happens when you guys this is what happens when you kind of think you're just smarter than everybody else, and you're going to draft Trey Lance, you're going to use him a little bit, then you're going to start him, and you're not going to start him, and then everyone's hurt, and then this guy's hurt. Maybe it's something in the water in San Francisco. I know there's a I'm trying to find that parallel to an MLB team that was always hurt. I had it in the back of my mind, but I forgot now. But they're just an organization that's always hurt. I don't know what it is.
The Angels with Mike Trout. I don't know.
Maybe it was the Angels. I don't know. But I don't know. Personally, I don't think Kyle Shanahan's that good of a coach. I think
the New York Mets.
The New York Mets, yeah, that's a good example. Not the one. I don't think that's the one I was thinking. But
San Diego Padres pitchers are never healthy.
Might have been I think it was the Padres. Because Tatis got hurt, Machado got hurt.
Trying to talk you through this.
But yeah, I mean, being in a monsoon didn't help. Deebo Samuel fumbled twice. Garoppolo turned the ball over twice. Jimmy G's not awful, but the Colts defensive line kind of was able to, pin its ears back and really show its strength on the shoulders of DeForest Buckner, who is formerly of the 49ers, and were able to impose their will on a San Francisco team that was without their best offensive lineman, Trent Williams. Definitely thought the game would go a little bit differently had the weather not played a factor, but I'm kind of in the camp that Kyle Shanahan is just not a good coach anymore. I don't think he's a good coach. I know he's an offensive genius. I think he should go back to maybe being a coordinator. I really don't buy into the fact that he's a good coach anymore.
Well, I look at this team. I look at the 49ers team, and so I was reading down the stat line, doing some prep for the show, and Deebo Samuel is the only name that pops out to me consistently. And then because whatever running back goes off that day is just going to be the next running back that goes off. So this week it was Elijah Mitchell, who matched, carry and yards with Jonathan Taylor. But I mean, that doesn't tell you the whole story, because they were trying to run in this monsoon and not necessarily pass, because their passer is not great right now. And I mean, Charlie Werner was second in receiving yards on this team, and Brandon Ayuk, who I liked a lot last year, and I thought would maybe be like the gadget guy, is the secondary gadget guy to Deebo Samuel, and he doesn't get any loving, and buried getting less targets than JaMychal Hasty, their second running back, and Trent Sherfield. Like, the San Francisco team doesn't have a ton of weapons. They're obviously a little injured. They did have a lot of running back depth, and now you're kind of at the back end of that, and Jimmy G doesn't still look right. And I expect them to be the bottom of this division, and I do expect when Russell Wilson gets back to carry the Seahawks to a relatively better record than the 49ers. And I'm honestly, the Colts is the team that I'm circled and looking at, because that's the next competitive team that the Bills face. So like to see what I going to try to catch some of their highlights every week and see what to expect. But yeah, I mean, the Colts aren't necessarily like they're not world beaters either, right? Like, they had a 22-3 lead against the Ravens, and then the Ravens came back. Obviously their kicker was hurt, and they should have won that game had Rodrigo Blankenship not pulled something. But I mean, feel bad for the kickers. Yeah, like me getting off the couch to do some YouTube thumbnails. Like, sometimes I pull something on my way over to the computer. Like Rodrigo Blankenship, buddy, you just have to kick balls, man. Like, and he was pretty good he was very good last year. So whatever. It sucks for the Colts, but they're kind of been up and down, and Jay's talked that how their schedule has been very, very difficult to start the year, and they'll also have some tough games this year, but they have played in a very, very easy division. So I mean,
and they're getting healthy. And they're getting healthy. They're getting healthy. Right. They had Quentin Nelson, and they had Eric Fisher Sunday night. And every time Jonathan Taylor, and I watch the Indianapolis Colts in general, it's like that Kylo Ren meme where I'm just like, more, like, give him the ball more, dude. I mean, we're giving Nyheim Hines 8 freaking. Stop with the nonsense, dude. This dude was unbelievable in Wisconsin. Me and Andrew we were banging the table when we drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I swear you, I wanted to break something, dude. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, Jonathan Taylor is easily a better back. I
remember you saying that, yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. He's just way better of a pure runner. Dude's got elite sprint speed. He's so difficult to tackle. And you saw it on Sunday night. And this was a game when we previewed it, we talked about this game was going to be won in the trenches. For as much as everyone wants to talk about Kyle Shanahan, his offensive mastermind, his offense is predicated. It comes from the Mike Shanahan offense, which was West Coast, which is run the football, play action boot, short screen stuff to tight ends and running backs and little tunnel screens and stuff like that. And if you can't establish the run, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And they've had success doing that. Obviously, everyone had success Sunday night on both sides of the ball doing that, considering, the weather again. It was kind of the only way you were really able to move the ball. I mean, I know people want to rip Jimmy Garoppolo today, and that's fine. He also has a 70, again, this stat, I've thrown it out, I don't know how many times. He's also got like a 75% winning percentage as a freaking NFL quarterback. So before we go ripping Jimmy Garoppolo, like, I think we kind of everyone needs to slow down in San Francisco over there, because that dude wins ball games. He just took you to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They're hurt, man. Like, their offensive line is banged up. Their defense is banged up. I mean, they're hurting right now. There's no doubt about it.
They have an actual shot to win this division with the Rams and the Cardinals ahead of them. Like, not anymore. Not even close. Yeah. I mean,
coming into the season, there was a bit. I mean, there was a lot of people.
Oh yeah, of course.
The 49ers have a shot here, and injuries have really not been in their favor.
Yeah. I mean, they could literally lose every game in their division this year. Like that's how close this division usually plays each other. And arguably you could say they could win every game, but I would not bet for that. We'll move on to the next one here. Feel bad for the 49ers because they did have a lot of promise. But Yeah, this one was a snooze fest. If you guys tuned in last night to Monday night, and I watched most of this game because I try to watch football when I can, and I'm off Mondays and Tuesdays, so I enjoyed a very 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 bad game in which I went on to TikTok for a few minutes here and a few minutes there just because I was bored. I was like, this is the game I get to watch, especially after last
Sorry,
Monday night.
buddy.
At least I got to watch the Manning brothers, and hearing Marshawn Lynch cuss on screen. I thought that was pretty funny. Tom Brady was also pretty cool to watch there for a little bit too. That was more. I wasn't even watching the game. I was just listening to the Manning brothers talk. I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty entertaining. Oh wait, there's a football game on. I forgot about that.
Wow. Well, I don't even know. I don't know why ESPN would even remotely think about not having them on there. Give the Manning brothers whatever they want every week, dude.
The Manning brothers
so much,
and I like the format a lot too. Like I like the very casualness of it.
Yeah,
I think that does a lot. And like Elizabeth, my wifey was like, what are you watching? Like for a second, because she didn't realize I was listening to two dudes talking about football, but it's like it's like us three dudes talking about football. It's like there's something different and compelling about that. That you're not soaking up like a very choreographed and produced a show. Like we don't have teleprompters telling us what to do. We don't got people in our ears saying, hey, big guy, like don't forget to put the the rolling ticker on the bottom. But yeah, it's natural, it's fun, and that's what I enjoy about it. And this game was whatever. It was punts after punts, and the Seahawks looked like they could have won it for the half of this game, and then the Saints, once they got the lead, you were like, oh yeah, the game is over.
Where's the gall, huh? Where's the want to win this game? I mean, we got 4th down in your own side of the 50, and Pete Carroll's punting, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, punting. Mina Kimes was talking about it today. They faced 8-man boxes 11 times yesterday and ran the ball through the A-gaps, 8 of them, and averaged 0.8 yards per carry. What are we doing? I mean, you got to do something different, dude. I mean, you can't just bang your wall into the freaking you can't bang your head into the wall every day and just keep doing it and expect the wall to move. It ain't going nowhere.
Is Pete Carroll done here? Russell Wilson wants out.
Did you hear him in the post game? Did you hear him in the post game?
I didn't catch
in the post game. He even said he was like in the post game. He was like, if Russell Wilson wasn't here, I would not. I don't believe that I would have been here as long as I have been. That's literally an actual quote from Pete Carroll after the football game, and it's 100% right.
So Russell Wilson wants to leave, and he's going to probably at the end of the season. And Pete Carroll's, I mean, it might be on his way out. The Seahawks haven't been this bad since they finished 2-14 or something like that. It's been a while, but the Seahawks team is not good. Their defense gets shredded. We're talking about on the Football Feast episode. So they're shredded like cheese, man. You cannot like this. And then that's how bad the Saints are though too. I'm not going to wait for Michael Thomas to come to make this offense look better. Jameis doesn't look that great. For what it's worth. And then their greatest weapon, Alvin Kamara. His highlights yesterday are by passing, not by running the ball.
Honestly, I'm good with that, Ace.
That's fine. Pass him the ball every damn time.
I agree.
Let him make some magic. But I feel bad. I don't feel bad. The Saints team, I don't think they made enough adjustments. They're like, Drew Brees is gone. No, Jameis can do the same exact script, and I don't think so.
They're so salary cap strapped, man. They literally have one of the worst salary cap situations in the league.
We talked a lot about that preseason.
Yeah, and that's really rearing its head right now. Alvin Kamara, they're coming out and they're running him 23 times a game. I very much liked what they were doing a few years back. I mean, obviously they had Latavius Murray and they had Mark Ingram to help, kind of take the load off of him. But I was much more a fan of throwing him the ball 8 to 10 times a game and running him 13 to 14. Just allows him to get a little more explosiveness. They run him a lot between the tackles, and he can do that. That's fine. But he really does his damage on the end, making people miss. There was really not too much to talk about from this game. Again, we talked about the Manning brothers. That was the biggest thing for me. That was the biggest takeaway. I really enjoyed the Manning brothers. I was really happy that they were back. They had Tom Brady on there. They had Sue Bird on there, who was phenomenal. For people who don't watch WNBA, Sue Bird is super smart, just an absolutely super talented woman in everything that she does. And she was a great listen to yesterday. So, Andrew, you got anything on this or anything in general from the Monday night stuff?
Anybody seen Tyler Lockett?
Oh, dude,
Andrew's fantasy team's looking.
Well, didn't DK finish
every year? year in my fantasy team, man. Every year.
I told you to trade him.
I'm done with yearly fantasy. I couldn't. I'm done with yearly fantasy.
I know.
It's
Tyler,
like if
Tyler
the player
Lockett and
himself
Miles
isn't hurt,
Sanders.
the person who's going to get that player the ball is hurt.
Bring him to
Michael Thomas, 4th overall last year. Gone the whole season. Tyler Lockett, best receiver the first 3 seasons. Russell Wilson, hurt for 9 weeks. Just crucify me.
Chiefs should trade for Tyler Lockett. Imagine that. The Seahawks don't have a first-round pick next year. Would you do a first-round pick for Tyler Lockett?
They want Frank Clark back. They can have him right now for a bag of potatoes. You want Frank Clark back? You can have him.
Yeah, but
throw in a cheeseburger. I mean, come on, give Andy something.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on here in a sec. But out of these teams that won, so we talked real quick about the Titans, the Raiders, the Saints. We didn't talk about the Cardinals because we're talking about them in here in a second. Who's the other team that won? I have to
Bengals.
No. We didn't choose that game. The Colts. So the Colts, Raiders, Titans, and Saints. Out of those 4 teams that we talked about, like, who's your favorite going forward to the rest of the season? Real quick.
It's kind of underrated. Carson Wentz has an 11 touchdown to 1 interception ratio, leading the league in turnover rate. Lowest turnover rate, that is. I think if they get healthy, that they can give the Titans a run for their money in their division. I'd say the Titans right now, though, just based on what they're doing. But defensively, I mean, obviously you wouldn't know it from watching them play the Chiefs, but defensively they're awful. I'll go with the Colts, but I'm not 100% sold because I did have the Colts winning the division, so I'm going to stick to that.
Yeah, I 100% think it's the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm not. Honestly, I'm really not too worried. The biggest worry for them is a pass rush. Kwity Paye hasn't been healthy, the first-round draft pick from this year. I think he's going to come in. He's going to make a difference right away. He was one of the more, polished pass rushers coming into the draft. I think he's a big help there. And again, I think they're healthy. They were really unhealthy to start the year. I mean, literally preseason week 2, like week 2 of camp, 3 weeks before the season, you get Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson get hurt with the same injury, out 4 weeks. They were both able to come back, and then Quentin Nelson gets hurt the first week of the season. Eric Fisher coming off the Achilles came back. Kansas City Chiefs fans, man. I mean, we were bagging on Eric Fisher, dude, and I mean, we're seeing it now. Like, we gave up a first-round pick for Orlando Brown, and Orlando Brown looks very slow. I mean, he's getting speed rushed every single time, and teams are making a point to make sure that they get after his side. So I definitely think it's the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Indianapolis Colts are going to win this division. I know that the Titans currently hold a two game lead. I don't think that's a big deal. I think the Indianapolis Colts make that up pretty easily. They've had, again, like Asa mentioned, I've talked about ad nauseum, one of the hard. Again, there's 2 teams that you could have predicted exactly how this season was going to go so far, and we've been right about both of them. Pat us on the back. We've been right about the Colts. We knew that this was going to be a rough stretch for them. I had them starting 1-5 and still, going and making the playoffs. I think that's still very much doable. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And the other one is the Carolina Panthers. Everyone was ranting and raving about how good the Carolina Panthers were. How good do the Carolina Panthers look now? It looks real easy when you're playing the freaking Jets. I mean, yeah, come on, dude. And look at the back end of their schedule. So I think 100% I say the Colts. For me, Asa, what do you think all those teams that one?
Oh yeah, it's the Colts. They've dealt with some injuries. Their defense is not bad. Their defense is actually pretty good. They have one of the best. Darius Leonard is one of the best defensive guys in the league. DeForest Buckner gets overlooked on this team, but he had a sack this last game. He's also really good. I don't probably like Carson Wentz as much as you do, Jay, but I love me some Jonathan Taylor. And if you can, at the very minimum, give him the ball 20 times a game and see 100+ yards, then this team has a recipe for success, and that should carry on. And with an easier schedule, playing the Jags and Texans twice, 4 times a year. I mean, easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. So.
Let's go, Ryan! Let's go, Ryan!
Ryan, you saved Jay from another death. Now
we're picking a 13-point favorite.
We are all tied, I think now, right? Or no, I have 3 deaths for sure. Jay, you have 4.
I'm the leader in the clubhouse, baby.
You have 4.
Yeah.
And okay, Andrew and I both have 3 now. Cemetery status golden here. I mean, I told you guys to smash the Chiefs. The Chiefs got smashed. I'm not afraid to pick to have picked them, and I would have done it like willingly any week of the season. Unfortunately, unless it was against the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, it sucks. I'm not happy. I don't care that the survivor pick was wrong. I would have rather just seen the Chiefs whip the Titans because I was pissed about Monday night.
Agreed.
And it didn't happen, but alas, it's okay. The Titans are they going to be a Super Bowl winning team this year? They are not. So I'm not too worried. But man, like we picked 3 of the best teams in the NFL, like going into this season, right? Or at some points of this season, and 2 of us lost.
Welcome to the NFL this year, man. This year's been really weird.
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore was up 3 points and then just got I don't know. Cincinnati just went on like a 30-point run. I don't know what happened.
It was a little fluky. I'm gonna rewatch this game because I swear to God, if I hear Joseph again come at me with this Joe Burrow crap, like he was at one point in this game, he was 5 of 13 for 73 yards. Like, I mean, I know he finished with an unbelievable, like, if you just look at the stats, it's going to look great. CJ Uzoma caught 2 touchdown passes for over 40 yards apiece. Jamar Chase took a slant on their own 20-yard line, 83 yards. Okay, 80, and it had nothing to do with Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah, no, there was some flukiness for sure associated, and we're not gonna hang too much here. It's fine. We kind of sucked this week. We'll try to get better. We'll try to get better for you guys.
It's just a bad week.
It just shows you we talk a lot of football. We watch a lot of football, man. But like, football just rears its ugly head sometimes. And so this is the main course today. The main course we're going to talk about two games ish, 2 teams, and the first one being we're just gonna slide right there to the Bengals. We were just talking about the Bengals. We'll keep it there. Best friends earning their stripes, and that is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and a big. I mean, I don't know if I want to undersell this, but like, I don't think I'm gonna undersell this. I should say, like. I'm not saying they should have taken Penei Sewell still. Like my choice was Jamar Chase because of some of the magic that I get to see with Jamar Chase catching 82-yard catches. Like, and most of this is yards after catch, and quickly becoming just one of the like the brightest spots in this draft. And I don't even know if he's. I mean, I don't. There was a lot of good talent in this year's first round, and I think we all were pretty impressed with. We're all pretty impressed with what we're seeing so far, but yeah, it's pretty cool to watch. Like, I know Joe Burrow passes a lot, still isn't getting as much protection as he needs, but there's something about this Bengals team that makes you like, yeah, it's like if it's all or nothing, and the all is really, really good. They beat a Pittsburgh Steelers team last year in a hard fought battle in which when the Pittsburgh Steelers had started the season 11-0, and they were they were like one of the 2 or 3 teams last year that were able to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, the Bengals took what the Ravens did well at some points, and that's like, big plays, and they had a few of their own, and the Ravens just couldn't stop them. I mean, they scored 4 straight touchdowns after the third quarter, which again is a little fluky, but hey, 41-17.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing the victory lap thing about Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell, and yeah, sure. I mean, Jamar Chase is breaking every record. It's going to look really stupid for me to sit here and try to say something about Jamar Chase not being the pick that they should have went with. I will, though, say that Jamar Chase and the Cincinnati Bengals have literally bottom 10 in attempts. They have the 7th least attempts in the NFL in terms of passing attempts, and they're 7th in sacks allowed at 17. I mean, not being protected. They're doing a great job this year of not throwing the ball 40 times like they were last year. And obviously that has something to do with the injury. And they've been doing it more over the last 3 weeks. Their pass rate over expectation has been over 50% for 3 straight weeks. So, I mean, if they were going to open it up more props to them. All I'm saying is, so far throughout the year, the issue of offensive line protection has not been solved in Cincinnati. They are throwing the ball less than they did last year by a wide margin so far through the season, and they are still a top 10 team in terms of sacks allowed. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just gonna pose it kind of this way to you guys. What are the expectations here for Cincinnati? Like, if you're from an organizational standpoint, like I understand like the offensive line is, you want it, like Penei Sewell was right there, but it's something I mentioned in the preseason about drafting Jamar Chase. Like, if you believe Joe Burrow is your franchise quarterback, and like you're projecting him on like a 10 to 15 like year, career trajectory, what does year 2 look like for him? And then what is the risk of, like, obviously now, like, we're seeing what, like, the fruits of like their labor of drafting Jamar Chase. What was the risk that you look into and at draft time that says I'm going to take Penei Sewell over Jamar Chase, who is like clearly the guy that my franchise quarterback wants? So I'm saying, like, from like a projection standpoint, like what were the expectations for like this team coming into this season enough to say that like the offensive line is that much of an issue? Because if they make the playoffs, even if they don't win a Super Bowl, they're able to draft and invest in offensive linemen next year. And now Jamar Chase is with Joe Burrow, with Joe Mixon, with T. Higgins.
They also the drawback is that they didn't need another receiver. That's the drawback. It's not like Jamar Chase is the only option that they have to throw the football to. T. Higgins was phenomenal last year. Tyler Boyd is a great slot receiver.
But are you thinking that T. Higgins is the same caliber of player as Jamar Chase? Like,
that's not the question.
That wouldn't be the question. If the gap is that big, though, that's why I'm saying like you go with Jamar Chase here. No, and I mean, it's paying off, and he's.
I get that, but that's not the question. The question should be is how much of an upgrade is Jamar Chase from T. Higgins, as opposed to how much of an upgrade is your starting left tackle now or right tackle now than Penei Sewell could have been. That's what you should have been asking yourself. And based on the draft analysis and what everyone was saying, it was a pretty wide margin. This was the 30th ranked offensive line in the NFL by PFF last year.
I'm not arguing with you there. I'm just saying like from their like point, like just from like almost like a selfish point of view. That's what, like, Joe Burrow wanted it. They believe in him as their quarterback, and that's just ultimately what they went with. And I'm saying if they go over 500 this year and surpass, I had them winning only 5 games this year. They've already gotten to the 5-win margin. So if they make the playoffs here, and they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl, let's not be naive. This is not even going to be looked at 5-6 years down the road if they're able to be a sustainable winning franchise after getting this move. That's all I'm posing here. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I said. That's the first thing I said is it's not going to be a thing where right now I'm saying, oh, they should have taken Penei Sewell. Look, Jamar Chase looks unbelievable. He doesn't look like the best wide receiver.
I think they're only. Yeah, I think they're only clear of criticism in this situation, and this is a very tight rope to walk, and one that I do agree with you here, Jay. I do agree that they probably should have went with Penei Sewell. I just projected Jamar Chase. I think this is a very tight rope that they're walking as a franchise itself, and I think you can probably agree with this too, Ace, is that once the injury comes to Joe Burrow because of the lack of like offensive line, that's when the criticism will be like that. That's when the entire herd of criticism will come, and it'll be well deserved. But if it doesn't happen, then they're lucky, honestly, by the skin of their teeth. And I mean, who knows?
Well, maybe they're right. I mean, maybe they were right and we were wrong. And their offensive line is better than we all projected it to be. All I'm saying is, yeah, the offensive line may be better than it was projected to be, right? Joe Burrow has been better this year. But what I'm saying is they've done a really good job of running Joe Mixon like crazy, of making sure that they hashtag establish it. And when you look at it, like I just told you, they're bottom 10 in attempts. They've thrown the ball the 7th fewest times in the NFL this year, and they are exactly 7th in terms of sacks allowed. That's all I'm saying, right? Like Jamar Chase looks unbelievable, and the Cincinnati Bengals right now look like geniuses, and I look like an idiot with an egg on my face because I thought they should have taken Penei Sewell, but no, and they're doing everything they can. Not only is that, they're also, like you said, they're winning football games. If they were losing and they were 2-5 right now, then yeah, I look like a damn genius, even if Jamar Chase has the numbers that he has right now, because they're still losing. And putting up these gaudy numbers at the end of the day isn't what always wins football games. Honestly, a lot of times it doesn't. Obviously, if you put up numbers and you score points, you're going to win football games. At the end of the day, the way to win football games is score more points than the other team. So if he's going to have 7 touchdowns in 7 weeks, is he going to have 7 touchdowns in 7 weeks? No. More than likely, this is not going to be able to continue. And Marlon Humphrey is going to tackle him instead of allowing him to break off an 82-yard slant route. I mean, and I'm not really complaining because if you tune into the Sunday morning roast, someone had a lot of Jamar Chase. Okay, but All I'm saying is Penei Sewell has been pretty damn good in Detroit. He had his struggles in the preseason, just like Jamar Chase did. But he's come in and he's looked pretty damn good for the Detroit Lions. And that's with him playing left tackle. And I just think that, the Cincinnati Bengals everything is going exactly the way it could possibly go for them not to get any criticism for that draft pick. And at the end of the day, if everything's going the way that you project, that way that they projected, good for them. But I personally,
that's essentially all I was alluding to. Yeah, but it's just it's right now the situation's just working in their favor. But the second that it happens, I mean, then you over here, you look like you said, like as a genius. But Ace and I had Jamar Chase, so yeah.
Kudos to you guys.
Yeah. So this, we you guys kind of just to talk about what you guys talked about the T Higgins, the jump from T Higgins to Jamar Chase, right? It's wide receiver 1 to wide receiver 2, and potentially we're looking at a huge drop off from where Penei Sewell could be versus. And I agree with you there. That's a good way to put it. But looking at the game, just the stats of this game. Jamar Chase was one of the other 5 wide receivers and his tight end that were targeted. There was, and the running backs, like Joe Burrow only threw to 5 different people, and 10 targets to Jamar, 15 targets to T Higgins, 7 targets to Tyler Boyd, who's, and this team runs 3 wide receiver routes, packages a lot, and those are their 3 wide receivers. And CJ Uzamoa, wasn't he like injured all of last season or whatnot? And so I don't think he's known as a catching tight end, so that's a little bit of a fluke. And so talking a little bit about the flukiness, as you brought up, Jay, like there's some flukiness associated here, right? What you do like to see, they ran the ball like 23 times to the running backs. It was pretty even split right down the middle. They both got about the same amount of yards, so it was 59 yards for Joe Mixon and 57 for Samaje Perine. And did Joe Burrow throw the ball a little too much? Yeah, probably 38 times. But that's what they needed to do to come back to win this game. And then they made big plays, kind of hit the Ravens in the gut a little bit. Got to Lamar Jackson 5 times. And if looking at what the Ravens did, they rushed the ball for 115 yards. Their leading rusher was obviously Lamar Jackson because he needed to get away, and he not all of his runs are designed. It's let me see what I could do, and let me see if I can save this game and win this game. And if you look at like who Lamar threw it to, he targeted Marquise Brown 14 times. He caught 5 of them for 80 yards, right? And half of those were on 1 catch. And Rashad Bateman is someone to look at in this game. He had another 6 targets. He had 6 targets last week too, and he caught 3 of those targets again. And Mark Andrews on National Tight End Day did not do much. So I do think that it was also fluky that they did, the Ravens aren't this bad of a team, but this is kind of what I wanted to highlight when I was talking so much crap about the Ravens is Lamar Jackson completed 15 for 31. He has not been this bad as far as completions to attempts this year. And he's usually very spot on with his averages. His averages were lower this week as well. It still scares me to run him out, so many times where, at half a dozen, at least I'm sure they script up probably like 5 runs for him a game, but he ran the ball 12 times and I just don't know how sustainable that is. And this Bengals team and this Ravens team are both making the playoffs this year, and the Steelers won't. And we'll see about the Browns. We'll see if the Browns can make it. But this Bengals team looks like it has a definite shot. At the very least, they could be 11-7, and the AFC. In the AFC picture, there is a viable chance that 11 or 12 wins gets you in.
Yeah, we'll see about the Bengals. I don't know about this playoffs. Yeah, Joe Burrow threw the ball 38 times on Sunday, and that was tied for the most this season. He hasn't thrown the ball more than 40 times this year. I'm just saying, that's how you hide not having it, and that's smart coaching. I'm not saying like, oh, they should go out there and just start yanking because they want to prove Johnny right. They're winning football games this way. Keep playing this way. Right.
Yeah. And then next main course option here is Mr. 600, Thomas, whatever your full name is, Brady.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. I only know because of Skip Bayless. Curse you, Skip.
Thomas Edward Patrick Bailey. Damn it, Brady. He threw for his 600th touchdown to Mike Evans. He threw 3 touchdowns to Mike Evans in this game. And like Jay always kind of says this, like the good teams find a way to win even in ugly games. And then they dismantle the bad teams when they play them. And this was a dismantling of the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are not a good team. There's nothing that Justin Fields can do. Allen Robinson is not nowhere playable in DFS or in fantasy. Like you could probably even drop him. Darnell Mooney is looking like
Joe's fantasy team has Allen Robinson on it.
What? Oh, you do.
Has
Yes.
Allen Robinson on it.
Did you start Allen Robinson and Tyler Lockett this week? Because I feel so bad for
everyone else is on a bye.
There's like 6 teams on a bye.
They're too good to drop, but not good enough to play. I'm in a pickle, man. It sucks too. Sorry to interrupt.
My dude. But yeah, it was a 38-3 Bucks win. Tom Brady, man, another 4 touchdowns. Looking like he may, if he keeps this pace up, maybe the MVP of the league. And I don't want him to, obviously, but he's really good. And I know Andrew talked about this. I think was it on Monday's show where so Mike Evans gave the ball away, and then they gave a little package of things to the fan that gave the ball away. He's like, Tom Brady deserved that ball. Buddy, you could have sold that ball for like $400.
Oh, you sound like my dad, dude.
$400,000 or something. Like
if Josh Allen comes up to you and asks you for the football, Asa, are you holding?
I'm gonna give him the football.
And that's what I told my dad.
He's seated right away.
It's easy for me to complain about someone. What's it called? Tom Brady on the Monday night broadcast also told him he's going to give him some Bitcoin. So I don't know what he's going to do there.
So this is what he ended up making out with. He ended up making out with season tickets for the rest of the season and next season. He ended up with $1,000 gift card to the Tampa Bay shop. He ended up with 2 signed jerseys and a signed helmet from Tom. And he ended up with a signed jersey and the cleats from Mike. And then he got a Bitcoin. So that's what he ended up with. That's pretty damn good.
We'll take that every day.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so it reminded me of I used to love watching Everybody Loves Raymond, and I still will watch those shows. But there was an episode where Frank goes to like a high school college game or something like that, and he catches this like 60-something yard kick, and then he keeps the ball. And the kicker and his dad come to the Raymond's parents' house trying to get the ball back, and Frank is such a old grumpy man. He doesn't want to give the ball back, but eventually he does. I mean, he could have gotten $2,000 out of the store. Is all I'm saying. It's just a little negotiation. What are the Bucks really losing here, buddy? This ball's already on its way to Canton, Ohio. Like, I'm sure they already scrubbed all this guy's DNA off of it. It was a great, fantastic gesture from the Tampa Bay Bucks, and I'm glad that they did that. And Mike Evans was, it makes for a better story anyway. So we'll take that. We'll take that anyways.
Of course, Mike Evans gives it away, not knowing that it's a 600 touchdown.
And for his 400 touchdown, it was to Gronk and or was it Gronk? No, Amendola. One of them in New England, and they also gave the ball away too. And I don't know if they even try to recover that one. Sorry, Angie, you were gonna say something. Go ahead.
What are the chances? Quick question. I'm curious about this. What are the chances he says no to that representative for the Bucks? What are the chances that he actually makes it out of the stadium with that football? There's no chance he's making it out of the stadium with that football. They're getting that football back one way or the other. They will. They have security. They have team. Personnel that will get that football. So the people saying, okay, I had a bunch of people in my fantasy group chat were saying he should have gotten more money. So, dude, he's not leaving the stadium with that football. That is the greatest quarterback of all time. 600 touchdown pass football.
The only person to do it. The only person to do it.
If he goes into the bathroom with the football, I would send in 5 guys from security to mug him and get the football. That's what I would do. Mug him and get the football.
They need to do a what if animated series. What if he got out of the stadium with the ball? And imagine like a heist type scenario where he he gets a baby, he throws it out of the stroller, he puts the football in the stroller, he makes it look like a little baby. He I don't know.
I don't drive away. There's traffic leaving the stadium.
I don't know. I'm not the writer.
Why does Asa go right to throw it out an old baby? just get a baby, throw it right out of the stroller, right on the concrete, use it for the getaway vehicle. Get out of here.
Like you've seen a stroller at a football game. Like I'm such an idiot. Anyways, do you guys? I don't know if you guys want to continue to add any more to Tom Brady here, but
on Twitter, everyone and their mom is talking about this.
The coolest thing was watching them the canoe. So I put that in the thumbnail too. The defense lined up and went on a canoe ride, and the water is there was no. This was just like whitewater rafting. Like it was just a straight annihilation of the Chicago Bears.
What are you doing over there?
He's rowing.
I'm getting it, baby. I'm getting it.
Okay. So we're gonna head to the last segment of our show. We're gonna do two things. We're gonna talk a little bit about Thursday night, and then we're gonna I'm gonna ask you guys a quick two quick questions, and that should be it. We can get rid of this Mr. 600 here. Okay. So the last part of our show, we are going to just break down Monday night real quick, and by breakdown I mean this is our picks. We kind of talked about it a little bit, and I said let's hold it off till later. But yeah, the Cardinals are hosting the Green Bay Packers this week. 7-0 versus what are the Packers? 5-2 right now.
6-1.
6-1. So the Packers have won 6 straight. The Cardinals have won 7 in a row. Obviously, this isn't about Davante Adams being out, because I would have probably still picked the Cardinals with Davante Adams in this game, but it would have been close otherwise. And like I guess this would have been a good way for me to go like contrarian and go against the grain, and this probably would have been a 3-point game. Minus 3.5 if Davante was there.
Oh, you would have been contrarian, because I would have definitely picked the Green Bay Packers. I know that Arizona Cardinals defense has been playing very well, but their big thing is that they get after the pass rush, the passer. They don't really do a great job on the back end. They're a little sustainable, the wide receivers, and I think that Davante Adams would have been a huge factor in this game. And I think the Green Bay Packers, frankly, are playing pretty well. Even defensively, they're playing pretty well. They've been kind of doing a good job of allowing A.J. Dillon to spell Aaron Jones, and I think that's mostly for games like this against really good top-tier talent in the NFL. I think this is a game that you would have seen Aaron. I think Aaron Jones on Thursday is going to play a huge role for them. I could see Aaron Jones. And again, they've been using him rather sparingly this year. Get upwards of 25 touches in this game, especially without those guys there. But yeah, without Davante Adams, without Allen Lazard, they're not even going to have their second wide receiver. Their number one wide receiver coming into the game is MVS or Randall Cobb. And the way that MVS has been playing this year, I'd lean more toward Randall Cobb. That's not going to get it done against a really good Arizona Cardinals team. So.
Allen Lazard should get some.
No, he's out.
Targets. Oh, is he out? I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, they are both out. Allen Lazard as well. Gone.
Got it. Yeah, I won't share much more than I already shared. Watching, the Cardinals play the Texans. The Texans started off with a 5-0 lead, which, obviously was very, very fluky in and of itself. This Arizona team ran the ball. And just ran the ball, and then that's all they were going to do this game. They ran the ball 37 times, and a lot of that was, I think, probably 30 of those runs were designed, and some of them were not. And they were going to dismantle the Houston Texans, whether or not Deshaun Watson was in that game or not. Like, and that just also shows you, like, the Texans this offseason, they got David Johnson, they got Mark Ingram, like they have Phillip Lindsay, like they have a bunch of old dudes like running the ball here, and there's no balance. And even with Tyrod Taylor, like if he was healthy, like they're throwing it to Nico Collins and Danny Amendola. He's still in the league, guys. Like I forgot he still plays. Like, so anyways, Cardinals took care of business. They've been taking care of business so far this season. They're 3-0 at home. their games aren't like the game. Their wins aren't as convincing as like some of the ones I've seen from other teams in this league. So they're just a very, very balanced team, and that's something that is like with you appreciate with how crazy this football season has kind of started. So.
So the stat everyone's been waiting for, I already know. So the Cardinals won a game against that Houston Texans team you were talking about, 31-5. The stat that I have for that is that scoregami. We talked about it on the show a little bit last week. That was the 1,068th unique final score in NFL history. That was the first time we've ever seen a game finish 31-5. I have followed their Twitter page, and this will be a weekly thing that I will yell out at the end of shows on our
scoregami.
That if scoregami does occur, they keep track of the games as they're currently going and give projection percentages as to if the game will finish as a scoregami. Anyway, for the game itself and for the Packers, I wonder if the line's going to change. I think because of the Thursday night game, it's going to probably stay the same, considering the news about Devontae and Lazard. But I think I wasn't probably going to go Arizona here either way. I think I would have rather had Green Bay covering, but Arizona probably takes it here either way. I think if these teams meet in the playoffs again, this is one of those matchups where you could see like the losing team is able to overcome the winning team in the playoffs, in the regular one of those regular season type things. But should be hopefully it's a fun game. We've had a couple. It's been aside the Bills and Titans was a good game, like just from an objective point of view. Obviously, we all wish it would have went a different way. But aside from that game, the primetime games have not really been great. So hopefully this will be a good one. This looks like it's going to be on paper like a pretty good one, even without Devontae. You get to see Aaron Rodgers still. So
yeah, for what it's worth, the Green Bay Packers are all time on the road at the Arizona Cardinals are 18-15 with 4 ties. So I mean, I don't know how you get 4 ties at a 37 games there, but we'll see what happens. It's just going to be tough for Aaron. Like yeah, and you could tell he's a little bit more into it than I gave him credit for at the start of the season. And he looks like he cares. But yeah, I don't think that the Green Bay Packers are a better team than the Cardinals this year. And so thus I picked the Cardinals. But we'll exit this off the screen here. Okay. To end the show here, I'm going to ask you guys, I wanted to ask you guys a couple of you just give me your thoughts here. A panic meter, is it a little bit, a lot of bit, or is it you're fine? You're in the middle. You don't have to. You're not stressing too much. And then you're stressing. Oh, okay. So maybe I'll save the and this is not. This is very this is be less objective, I guess, because this is not your team's. I'll probably say the Chiefs, but okay. If you're the Carolina Panthers, are you? What's your panic meter over there?
Maximum. If, from a Carolina Panthers standpoint, maximum. You lost J.C. Horn. You traded for Stephon Gilmore. You thought Sam Darnold was going to be like the guy after a 3-0 start. You benched him in his return to MetLife Stadium, even though he wasn't even playing his former team. That's how bad he played against the New York Giants. This is at maximum right now. Matt Rule needs to also figure out what happened to Robbie Anderson. I know Jay's pretty ticked about that. Highest targets in the league with the least amount of catches, with the lowest catch percentage.
Pretty bad.
Ridiculous. Maximum.
He's getting like 9 to 11 targets.
And I think that's more of a, I hate to say it because I like Sam Darnold. I think that's more of a Sam Darnold thing, to be quite honest with you. I mean, he's getting the looks and Matt Rule's really scheming him open. And honestly, it is kind of a Robbie Anderson thing. He's had quite a few drops this year. He had 3 drops this last week. I didn't play him in DFS. Didn't touch him with the
They bench him too?
No, they didn't. And it's maximum. And the Carolina Panthers are telling you that it's maximum, right? I mean, with all the rumors coming out of how involved they are with the Deshaun Watson trade, I don't understand how anyone in the NFL would want to trade for a guy that you don't even know when he's going to be able to step on the football field. I mean, technically, if someone trades for him this week, he could play on Sunday. But good Lord, do you want to have any of that hanging over your head? And then think about what your fan base thinks about it. I just think that's a real raw deal. I wouldn't touch Deshaun Watson with a 10-foot pole, in my opinion. Why he's not on the exempt list is an absolutely egregious move by the NFL commissioner. That needs to be fixed. But yeah, maximum 100%. And they're telling you that. So Ace, just quick, what do you think your thoughts are on this one too?
Oh yeah, it's maximum. But I wonder, and you guys elaborated the points enough. I wonder if they with this maximum like panic, like are they Are they going to try to trade for Deshaun Watson? Are they going to try to do something? Like, they leveraged their future to get Sam Darnold here, so I think they just have to write it out and figure it out.
Well, what did they trade for Sam Darnold? I think it was just like a third round pick or something, right? I don't even think it was anything too crazy, right?
Was it a first and a third? I can't remember.
I don't think it was a first.
But either way, it's a consensus panic. And we'll see what happens to Carolina for the rest of the season. I mean, they're not winning that division. Okay, so what about the Washington football team? I mean, the NFC, like, it is not great. Like it has a couple of really, really good teams at the top, but there's a potential chance that maybe if they finish around 500, does this team have a chance to finish at 500? What's your panic meter with the Washington football team?
I'd say it's pretty steady. If I were choosing between the three, steady in the sense that defensively you're not where you thought you were. Offensively, you didn't expect to be a world beater. Having Heineke in there just kind of makes it a lot tougher to really evaluate where you're at. I mean, F1 McLaurin is obviously an elite receiver, but I think it's steady in the sense that you hired a defensive coordinator in Jack Del Rio who, as Johnny will confirm, just lines up and runs it. Just lines up and runs a scheme. He doesn't do anything exotic, doesn't do anything crazy. And I think it's affecting this team and the talent that's over there because there's a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. That front four should be getting way more pressure than it should, and it should be performing a lot better. And I think once they realize what that issue is, they should be fine defensively. In terms of offensively, it's going to need a whole revamp in terms of who the quarterback is until they really figure that out. So I think it's steady here.
Yeah, and they've got some offensive line injuries too. I do want to just bring up. Let me share the screen here for a quick second. This was the chart I was telling you guys about, and this is going to show you just how bad the Washington defense and the Kansas City Chiefs defense is. So the very bottom are the worst defenses in the league, and the very top are the best defenses in the league. As you can see, the Buffalo Bills, cream of the crop up there. But the Washington football team, right? So again, if you started 10 drives against the Washington football team, you would get a touchdown or a first down 78% of the time. You would get a field goal 7% of the time. So you're scoring points or getting first downs 85% of the time that you go out there against the Washington football team defense. And then again, obviously the punt percentage is really low. The turnover rate is very low. So this is what I'm talking about in terms of, and look at the Kansas City Chiefs. It's absolutely pathetic. Now that we're on it, let me just pull up the other one too. So that way you can see how ridiculous the Kansas City Chiefs offense is. And again, we talk enough about the Chiefs, but I'll talk about them some more because that's what I do. Hold on. Come on. Work for your boy. There you go. It's otherworldly, guys. Like, it really is. Like, 82% of the time on a drive, they're getting a touchdown or a first down. 4% field goal. Look at the turnover percentage. 8% turnovers. I mean, we're in the same, like, ballpark as the Washington football team, as the Jags. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's... Anyway. It doesn't look great for when you look at numbers like that. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys the last one here. The Miami Dolphins, who Tua was the best quarterback to roster for a lot of teams last week. I think he finished as the QB1 in fantasy. Is he the QB1 in that? You know, it depends, right? It depends on the matchup. Obviously not the best quarterback in the league. $500
on DraftKings, just egregiously priced. I mean,
so what's your thought on the Miami Dolphins? What's your panic meter out here?
Clean sweep. It's a max. I mean, this was a team that we had way higher expectations for coming into the league. We thought this defense was going to be a lot better. You know, we did talk about some of the questions at the edge position, especially at the outside linebacker type position, like just at the edge in general. We knew that there was some weakness there. They went and got Will Fuller. He's played a half a game. The dude just can't stay on the field. It's just not working out. Devontae Parker's been injured as well. I mean, their offensive line is in shambles. So it's absolutely maximum panic mode. And again, they're another team that for some reason thinks that drafting Deshaun Watson is going to solve their problems, even though Tua Tagovailoa has been pretty damn good their last two games. So I don't see it. And it's obviously maximum. And again, they're telling you that with the type of stuff that they're doing.
Yeah. I will also share that maximum with you. They had a 1-point win against the New England Patriots, in which the Patriots should have probably won that game as well. This team could be winless, and it's pretty scary. Like, they have two of the best quarterbacks in the league. They have one of the most like playmaking tight ends in the league. So it's just very, 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 very scary there to see like that this team is just coming out and just laying egg after egg after egg. And I don't know who's going to be worse, like the Jets or them. I mean, I didn't include the Jets in this panic meter, but Zach Wilson is hurt now. So, oh my. Like,
Don't worry, Joe Flacco to the rescue.
Joe Flacco to the rescue.
Don't even worry.
What are your thoughts real quick? And then we will wrap up the show here.
I think it's maximum, and I think it's mostly on the defensive side of the ball. Like Jay mentioned, that's where most of their concern should be. I really don't think they've given Tua like a fair shake, in my opinion. I know he hasn't been great, but they played him like they started him last year and then pulled him late, and then this year he suffered an injury, so he missed some time. And now they're wishy-washy about him. They want Deshaun Watson. I mean, like we're way too quick to react in this league about like, and I get it with the way the quarterbacks are. But I think defensively they were just expected to be so much better, especially with the secondary and all the money they have invested in there. And Christian Wilkins has not been good since everyone expected a year 2 jump. Has not been good. Emmanuel Ogbah, we're Chiefs fans. He's not a very good player. He had a one-off year, and they not mortgaged the future on him. They didn't pay him a ton of money, but they just kept him and didn't change anything, and he's not getting a pass rush. Not very good. So hit maximum here. Hit that panic button.
Ooh, gives me PTSD every time I hear it.
I don't know why I made that face.
Okay, guys. I mean, we ate up about 90 minutes here. I guess we were extra hungry. No. Thank you. Yeah. I look forward to this week. We're gonna finish the show this way. I know we're almost at an hour and a half, but we're gonna still finish it this way. Hold on. Tell me, boys, what are you hungry for this week? What are you just beyond ready to munch on, to just to fill your appetites with? What is the amuse-bouche going to be? Are you going to have two courses? Are you going to have a 3-course dinner? Are you going to have you're going to dip into dessert before the entree comes out? Like, just tell me, what are you guys hungry for this week?
Well, I'll go ahead and break it down the way our show is. I'll go ahead and say that the appetizer is Thursday Night Football, the main course is Sunday, and then the dessert is Monday Night Football, where my Chiefs play. And here's what I'll tell you I want. I'm just so bent over my table starving for Chris Jones to play the entire game at defensive tackle. Please. I need to see it. He needs to play the entire game at defensive tackle. That's it. That's all I'm hungry for. That's all I get. I just want dessert this week. I'll skip the first 2 courses. Just give me Chris Jones at defensive tackle, please. Asking very nicely.
So I'm hungry for dinner tomorrow, actually, because we have the most loveliest of ladies who has a special birthday tomorrow. Our mother, Belinda. Happy birthday to you. 21 at the ripe age of 21, looking absolutely stunning. So we will be going to dinner tomorrow for her, and very excited for that. In terms of sports, I'm actually pretty excited to get back on the tournament train this week in DraftKings for DFS. I felt really good this last week, man. I had a lot of very good plays. My mini stacks were really well thought out. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of them hit. Now it's just putting the pieces together, and I'm really excited to get going this week. I think this is going to be a good week in terms of my tournament lineups for DFS. I felt really good, like I said, this week. Had a lot of big hits. Unfortunately, just didn't have the right combinations together. Cash lineup, I'm always a pretty damn good cash player, which is why I don't ever really bottom out. Like I usually bet around anywhere from $120 to $140. And, the most I ever lose is my tournament stuff. So this last week, I put in 140 and I made back like 120. And that was really just because I won pretty much all my cash stuff, because that's really where I'm pretty good. So I think the tournament this week are really going to hit. I'm really excited for this week.
Oh, sounds delectable, boys. I guess I'm hungry for a sports related. I'm hungry for a Buffalo Bills red zone touchdown. We get into the red zone a lot. We don't often turn that into 6 points. So that'd be nice this week against a very bad Dolphins team. And then hungry for in the rest of my life. I look forward to every day. So whatever life brings its way. Halloween is this Sunday, so I do work, but I guess it would be. I work at a very family friendly business, or I'll probably get to see a bunch of fun costumes. So I guess that to look forward to as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us here at the AJ Sports Show. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. And happy birthday, Belinda. Bye, guys.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Bye. Happy birthday, dear Belinda. Happy birthday.
He said happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
Josh Allen has never turned the ball over the